Welcome students of Form 2, students of 2A, students of 2B. We are talking about the benefits mainly of Caribbean integration. And we are talking about, next question, debate the benefits, think papimento es quita beneficio, of Caribbean integration. So when I'm talking about the subjects of this video, the Court of Justice, mass media, culture, sports. Yes, keep that in mind. Yes, and the main goal is, meta aquí is, resultado is, enseña aquí está debate the benefits, el beneficio of Caribbean integration. Yes, and you have to debate this. So it means the pros and the cons, the advantages, the disadvantages. Look at the whole and look at it from different perspectives. That is what we're doing here. And the question is, what are the benefits of Caribbean integration? Possible benefits, I should say. And we've seen that some people are for, like the guy on the left, and some people are against. And one argument that they give is that some people are afraid that a supranational organization will come and it will take away their power, take away by national identity, gives me nothing in return, because you will get a power beyond the limits of national borders that has power over countries. That's what some people say. Also, integration doesn't go very fast. It's difficult, it's complex, and one reason is that national governments don't want to give up power, poder, the autoridad, authority, to a supranational body, to a government that is actually above the national government. Yeah? Un gobierno arriba el gobierno di país. And a lot of countries are not really waiting for that. You can find this on page 195. No, page 159. Sorry, I have a problem with numbers. So on page 100, Sheng 59. Yes, you can find it there. Who benefits from integration? And we already said a major factor, es que de hoop importante, is the free movement of goods, labor and capital. You can find this on page Sheng 60, page 160. And that free movement is important because we're going to look at mass media and how mass media can get benefits of that free movement in the Caribbean region. So we're going to look at mass media in the next sheet. As we talked about that laborers can work in the Caribbean, but also entrepreneurs or companies who sell aloe vera can sell it in the Caribbean. So there's free movement of goods, labor, and capital. Mass media. What is mass media? You can find this on page 162 of your textbook. And mass media is newspapers. A lot of people still read on our island. Is the radio. Radio Hoya is one of our oldest radios on the island. You have Tele Curaçao or TV Direct, Dia Stress, and there are other channels still. And the question here is, how do we benefit from integration concerning mass media? Yeah, so we've seen there is free movement, and how can mass media benefit, beneficio, yeah, how can it get the advantages, ventaja, the mass media being an integrated Caribbean? Yeah. Okay, the mass media benefit from regional integration because they have a much greater audience. So mass media has, when it is aimed at the Caribbean, has a lot of people who watch mass media. Yeah, so their audience is very large. A lot of people watch the TV, read the newspapers, follow certain YouTube channels. So there are a lot of people for that. Yeah. So while you have Tele Curaçao or Amigo de Curaçao or a Nobo or a Vigilante, they only have the audience of Curaçao and perhaps the other islands and some people in the Netherlands. That's it. When you use the integration And when you become a member of CARICOM, you don't only have the ABC Islands and some of the Netherlands, but also a bigger market, the market of the region. So you have a much larger audience. Not only the ABC Islands or Curacao or part of the Netherlands, your audience becomes way bigger. All of the people in the Caribbean, you could say. Yes. And because you have a bigger audience, yeah, because of that, you get more advertising revenue. And what is meant by advertising revenue? We say that in the newspapers and on TV and on the radio, you have a lot of commercials. You have to wait for them, and then the show or the program continues. But this is how programs on radio, journalists, presenters, TV stations are paid. So they need advertising revenue. Yeah, revenue means ganache, like more profit. Entrada is like income, but revenue is like income and like profit. So ganache and entrada, because they need it to make their programs, to make newspapers, or to provide radio programs. So they need this money. And when you have more people where you make these programs for, your advertising revenue goes up. Yeah? And you have a greater audience. So that can really be a benefit for all of this. Yes, but because your audience is the whole of the Caribbean and not just our island. Also, culture and sports work more or less in the same way. Culture and sports need revenue. They need a big audience. Yeah. If you talk about the football team, if you talk about UB Kirindongo with its art, when there is more integration, their fame, they will be more well known. So they have a possibility to have a bigger audience, an audiencia más grande, more people watching football, knowing UB Kirindongo, knowing pop artists from the Caribbean, and especially Curacao. And then you have a bigger income, boting más ganache, boting más entrada. You have more profit, you have a bigger income, you have a higher revenue, because you have more exposure. Yeah, exposure means exposition. And it means that, for instance, football that you can see there, the football, for football, commercials and exposition is very important, because at the side of the football fields, you see a lot of commercials. So when there's more exposition of the Curaçao football or the Caribbean football, more companies are interested in advertising during football games. Yes. So artists like Yubi Kirindongo, or hip hop artists from the Caribbean, or football players and football matches and football organizations will get more exposition, and it means also that there's a bigger revenue than más ganache, than más entrada, which is important for culture and sports. You need exposure, you need a wide audience, and this gives persons opportunities to take part in regional, Caribbean, and international events. Because you present yourself not only as Curacao, you present yourself more as part of CARICOM and the wider Caribbean. Then justice. Justice is the last part of this video. Pay attention, because this is a little bit complexer than the rest. Yes, justice, justicia, means that people who've done an atraco, or who have robbed a bank, or who have scammed other people, that they are arrested and they get a punishment that is connected with what they have done wrong. What also is about justice is if people have a disagreement, like a boss and people who work for a boss have a disagreement about their salary, they can go to the court of justice and they can hear from the judge who is right and who is wrong, and they get a verdict about this. Yes, normally Yes, so Court of Justice, din papiamento, is kita Corte de Justicia, and it's the final court of appeal for criminal, atraconan, scams, and civil cases between citizens who have a disagreement. Yes, and the highest point you can go is called the final court of appeal. We have Corte de Justicia in Curaçao. It's on the Boulevardweg, close to the Coca-Cola fabriek and close to the harbor. Bapokibra, close to the Van den Trail, actually, pretty close. And this is how it looks from the entrance. And most of you will see it from this side when you sit in a car or in the bus at the Boulevardweg, close to the harbor, close to the Coca-Cola fabriek and close to the shipyard. So this is our Corte de Justicia, but it's not the highest one. You can get higher in our country. When you don't agree with what the judge has said on this location, you can go to the Netherlands, you can go to The Hague, and there is the Hoge Raad in Dutch, and there you can get your final court of appeal. This is how it works now on our island. But when we would become a full member of CARICOM, like Trinidad or Jamaica or Belize or Guyana, yeah, then we wouldn't go to the Hoge Raad in The Hague anymore. We would have the Caribbean Court of Justice. That is the final court of appeal also. And a possible advantage could be that it is pretty close by, because I hope you understand that The Hague is really far away. I think some 9,000 kilometers, but Trinidad and Tobago is much closer. Yeah, because where is Port of Spain? I think it is here. Here's Port of Spain, and there we have our Corte de Justicia then of CARICOM, and there you can have your final, most high court of appeal. When you have done something wrong, you've done something criminal, you have a disagreement with another citizen, your neighbor, government, you can go to Port of Spain and get your final answer about what the judge and the law thinks of it. So this would be a great change when we would become a full member of CARICOM. And this could also be an advantage, actually. This was my video. If you have a question about something I explained, just ask me below. If you have an improvement of my papiamento, help me during class. Mita sinja turdia, mi vakitake television. Mita sinja, mita usa un diccionario, papiamento English, English papiamento. But if I made a mistake or you have a better word, please help me out. You can subscribe. And yeah, I hope to see you during class.